Day one was, day one was... Man, you gotta remind me what day one was. Tweeting.
So, day one we got off the plane. I was completely exhausted because I really can't sleep on a plane.
I think I've been awake for too long, anyways. Too long for me, even.
Well, all 10 of us had our bikes and our hockey bags. They all made it safely. Although none of us had even thought about how we were going to get to the hostel with those bags.
First thing we did was hit the hostel, drop all our stuff off, put our bikes together.
Got there, built up our bikes in a tiny, disgustingly hot room.
Excruciatingly warm, and that death pit by the window was not comforting.
There was one window, when you open it, it faced into a brick alley. So you were looking at a wall, and when you looked down, there was just pieces of shit.
We found Jeff and Boudreaux.
Jeff and Boudreaux, sure enough, were sitting there in their own grease.
I went out to check out the beach. Now on the way there we saw an amazing wall ride. About another 100 feet we saw that shark fin type of thing.
Total bummer because Boudreaux was hurt to begin with on the trip, and then first spot we roll up on, Jeff manages to roll his ankle, of course.
You're hurt and you have these planned trips. That's the worst thing about BMX, is you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you get hurt and you got to go with the flow. You go on the trip regardless, because you know what, you're still going to have the best time in your life.
I slept for maybe an hour and a half in that sauna of a room. Everyone else was getting drunk. They woke me up. But I think I sat in the street with Ginger, and we drank in the street, sitting on the ground like hobos, and just heckled.
2 for 1.
Travelers, locals, hookers.
We didn't really sleep that good that first night. You woke up and you woke up in an actual sweat outline of your body.
So we woke up in the morning, day 2, in that terrible, terrible room we were in.
Show me your back.
That was something else. If we would have had to stay in there the whole time, I would have either slept on the beach by myself, or I would have paid money to get my own place, because it was so hot. It was so unbearable. But thankfully a few people stepped up and just gave it into the people that were running the hostel.
I went and had a bitch fest with the people running it because we paid based on, it says it was air conditioned, which is a total Spanish lie. It's a wind blower that creates heat, essentially, and they claimed you had to put ice cubes in it to create cold air, which is absurd because the ice cubes would surely melt before. I mean, fuck, it doesn't make sense. You don't put ice cubes in an air conditioner. It just doesn't exist. And then we found out that ice cubes also don't exist in Spain. It's just not a thing that they have in their culture. Ice cubes are not real.
After a lot of complaining and fighting, they finally gave us a new room, and one with a balcony, which I can't even imagine how the trip would have gone without that balcony. We spent so much time out there, just drinking, ogling girls.
Housekeeping!
Took off to this amazing street spot.
I couldn't count to 20 on my fingers and toes. How many times I got high on the wings of my phone. I take the hate, the naked, and spin it and bring it for dough. Now take a chance and grab the bull by the ring in its nose. So if you see me kicking it shows, it's right in the streets. Come say something to me like, hey, what's up with you, T? Give me some props, see, cause nothing ain't nothing for free. If I got $6, hook you up, you hunting for 3. Cause see, my mom's told me every day ain't great, but stay up and stay straight, baby, the grade will break. But when the grade drag on and dominate your stage, just trust one day, baby, the grade gon' fade. Just take a breath and let it be. The recipe? Well, just live life incredibly. Sounds easy, right? It better be. I put my heart ahead of me and let the words speak for themselves. They own identity. Life is great. I grip it tight inside of my hand. Thirst for living ever since I said goodbye to my man. Life is good. If you live life, you don't like it, you should. I got a million reasons, got the time when I could. Life is great. Keep breaking if you hype or you ain't. Making music, it don't matter who
filming and getting clips, and then the sky was starting to look pretty gnarly and swirling and black, and it looked pretty cool. And then it started to rain, and my backpack fell open. All my camera gear fell out as it was raining, broke a lens. Luckily it was the cheapie. We all took shelter as it got increasingly violent. And we took shelter under this little canopy in the building and just watched as the streets filled up to easily 2-3 feet of water.
The rainstorm was awesome. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The rainstorm kind of made things just like that much more epic.
Hey girl, you want to party?
And it just looked like the whole city of Barcelona was going to get destroyed by a tornado.
Walking out into the street was really fun, actually. Standing in the garbage flowing down the street.
All the scooters in the street were getting washed away and knocked down. We're fucking standing in the streets and just, almost knee deep in water. And I'm thinking, and I'm seeing diapers float by, and I'm thinking, wait a second, this really isn't that good. So we decided to make our way back. We were gonna get soaked anyway, so we just started riding through the streets. It was just chaotic. There's people everywhere, and trees are down, cars are shifted, stuff's in the way, and just people chaos.
We went back to the hostel for a bit just to chill out, hoping that it would dry up for an evening session. Rich was a little restless, so as we were all sleeping, he started messing around with us. He was tickling Jeff's face with a shoelace, and fart sprayed Jay. Fart spray is always appropriate.
We went back to the skate spot later that night, somehow it dried up enough.
Ever since I said goodbye to my man, life is good. If you live life, you don't like it, you should. I got a million reasons, got the time when I could. Life is great, breaking if you hype or you ain't. Make your music, it don't matter who I like it or hate. Life is great, baby, I don't care who's trying to pay me, it amazes me. I love it that my lady drives me crazy. Life is grand.
Boulevard is the greatest place of life. Banger every night. Didn't show up to Boulevard till like 1, 2 before it even picked up. And then sent it hard till 6 a.m. and then struggled to get home somehow. Saw sunrise every day, which was pretty sick. And didn't pay a dime for drinks the whole time. Julia, yeah.
They had these giant drinks, I think they were 10 euros or something, but they're pretty much just full of glass fill of liquor, and give you a bottle of Coke to go with it, so that made for a good time as well.
Boudreaux barely rode. I felt bad for the guy, but what he didn't do in riding, he made up with a lot of beer, a lot of shit talking. He slept out at 6 foot long by 1.5 foot wide balcony. That was a rough bed to sleep in, covered in cigarette butts and bottles and cans.
What happened on day 3? I don't fucking know what happened on day 3. I wasn't there, asshole!
Yeah, so day 3.
Took a subway out far, a good 20-25 minute subway out. Our plan was to travel out and bike back, find as many spots as we could.
So we heard about this skate park with 3 spines in a row or something like that. So we took the subway out there, checked it out, and they were just about 3 feet tall and straight to vert the whole way, just completely unrideable. It had a little mini too that I think 3 different sizes on it, and every quarter went to vert even if it was 2 feet tall, so it was pretty much impossible to ride, but Steve and Jay managed to get some good ice picks on it. Awesome metal banks just right across the street that were on fire. wandered down the street a little, came across these massive colored banks, 30 feet tall, pretty steep, nice and slippery, so if you crash, you slide down the entire thing.
Definitely seen some cool tricks. Did a couple things I was happy with. Watching Rich trying to 3 into that bank and run down into the dry was just pretty funny.
We stayed there for a good while. A lot of guys did tricks. Bujo held on the fort with our bags due to an injury. But after that, we moved on.
It seems like everywhere you go in Barcelona, there's just amazing banks.
Yeah, we found this bike swing in a park where there's an amazing spot. Sure enough, just like the movies, all the BMX movies said, right at one of the subway stations. And Nick gapped over the group. We were sitting on the bench and Nick jumped over us from this perfect bank.
So after that, we went to get food. We all took over a small chunk of the sidewalk, ate donaires. Messy meal. This is like our 3rd time straight eating donaires as dinner, I think.
And we partied.
We as BMXers are a fucking total different breed of human being.
One night on the way to Boulevard, we pit stopped at some pub called Wild Turkey, and every Strongbow you bought, they gave you this like blow up drinking game dice.
How many people in your life have you ever met that have had a dodgeball fight in a bar and not got kicked out?
So we went up to the 2nd floor, which was just ours, and started playing an epic game of dodgeball till the owner or some manager came up, and pretty sure he said something along the lines like, "This isn't Canada, you don't do this here, but I'll see you tomorrow."
Day 4, woke up, everyone was pretty hungover from the night before. As always, Kyle was itching to ride, so he went out on a bit of a solo mission to get a clip at a spot we rode on day 2 that I guess he didn't get.
Spot map and I had shit pretty dialed, but naturally people don't believe me because I don't have an iPhone, so surely I couldn't know anything.
Rich said that was the stop to get off for the quarter to wall spot, and after looking around for a few minutes, everyone started doubting him, and he was just kind of guessing that it was here, there, and everywhere.
Took some time to find this quarter to wall, this famous quarter to wall, and it's not at a subway station. We had to find it.
But he was determined to find it, and he spotted it from a distance.
Turns out my hunch was right and all the group was wrong. Nobody thanked me though.
Wandered around the city a little more. Came across these giant gray kind of volcano pump type things.
Two bumps that were covered in that like playground material. It was really soft, so when kids fall on their face, they don't die.
We convinced ourselves how to ride them because it was really difficult. It turns out we were riding them backwards.
Rich destroyed it with that truck.
That was definitely my favorite spot in Memphis. Man, Chris had the best crash I've ever watched in person for sure.
It was actually the soft roller that saved me, because as I was coming in, I clipped my pedal and just scorpion grinded up the tranny. There was nothing, a few cervezas and some Spanish ice wouldn't help.
So Chris Chitteroni had the bright idea of getting absinthe.
Jay and I kind of liked it, whereas everyone else just took one tiny little sip and ran into a corner.
Oh, I forgot it was eating. Wait for the burning.
Wait!
It continues.
I can't handle that shit. It's black licorice.
And then I decided to do another one with Nick. Chased another one with Coke. Coca-Cola. And then proceeded to go back to Boulevard, where I got more drunk. And somehow never got hungover. Boulevard.
Day 5, me and Rich. I woke up in the morning. Rich was getting up, trying to sneak out to ride. I ended up sneaking out with him. And we went to a couple spots that were supposed to be more of a bus, so it was better to go with a couple people. And definitely got a couple of clips that we were excited about.
Grew up in a Boston bar. House strings around these eyes and bloodstreams getting hard. Smoking gun from the camel that
Yeah, I guess we kind of had motivation to go, and we woke up and Ginger wasn't feeling it, and you could see he was looking green, not his regular orange self. I don't know if it was heat stroke or what, but he wasn't feeling good. We went down to the beach. just hung out, sat on our bikes down by the water, and got in the water.
Chainsaw carpets in the halls and the stairs, and my words come out as jokes. Everyone's looking at high. My words come out as jokes.
One of the better moments for me, anyways, was this coconut salesman selling whatever you need, whatever you want, whenever you want, for pretty much whatever you can afford. It just came up to us and had a big hook nose and he was missing teeth. And just, deeter. That's how he sells coconut. He just walks around the beach and does that for hours on end.
I saw a neon light, and at the end of tranquil heaven, here comes a Guinness fights. Goddamn Irishman, it can make my words come out as jokes. Everyone's looking at high. My words come out as
Night of day
jokes.
5. Me, Nick, and Ace all went out for a little street mission. We had been at the beach all day. We didn't feel like quite starting to party yet.
Should live anyway. Someone made pushes hearts. Should live anyway. Should live anyway.
Day 6, we, the group we went to Macbo, which is just another famous skate bike spot.
Chitteroni wrecked the Marble Banks.
Totally shattered that little over ice spot.
It was first thing in the morning, first spot, and I had the bright idea of just jokingly say, I'm gonna whip this. Sure enough, like 9 cameras came out. Can't let down when the cameras come out. So sent it and it worked out super good.
I found a cool like curved ledge that kind of went up around to a metal box on top, but 2 inches higher than the ledge. And I decided it'd be pretty sick if I tried, feeble out, crank arm slide across the top. The whole time I was being eyed by a security guard of some sort, and they didn't seem to care about anyone else, so I didn't stop. The security guard started approaching me, and I was like, well, maybe I should just make sure everything's alright. As I went to talk to him, the guy pulled out some handcuffs and started coming at me, so immediately I started taking off.
We got out without getting arrested. Ace took a pretty gnarly crash. He was just eyeing up this feeble, and he took it.
We go to another spot where you'll see Kyle shredding, the group sitting. We split up and decided to all make our way to the famed seawall. Just took a different route than the other guys. Found some awesome spot with these hippie banks and ledges. Just a perfect spot to session. They didn't really want us there. They were opening their cafes, and Chris was taking this line through the tables to get to this hip, and the guy wasn't really into it. I tried to convince Chris to not go that route, but he didn't care. It definitely led to the police showing up and trying to scam us for money. When we asked how much the fine would be, they asked how much we had. We kind of snuck our way out of that. I had the camera rolling for a bit of that. And we ended up playing the dumb tourist game, and we got out of that lucky.
And we ended up at the seawalls. We found Steve there carving it by himself.
sure she was looking for drugs.
Took off to my own little venture. I just wanted to check out the city by myself. Pretty much knew I mainly just wanted to get to the seawall. I knew it was really far, so I just took my own little route along the beach.
Crazy Steve carving over the doors at the seawall. The complete opposite way that everyone else carves the doors, like landing into the thin part.
Defying death with his GoPro by himself.
We all rode there for a while before taking a swim. Boudreaux did not go in the water.
And then we went and rode dilly dally, went to look for this wave spot.
Won't you marry me?
Rode some other cool spot, the banked subrail, and Kyle Fleur was almost killed.
Oh, wow. Bottle landed about 4 feet from me. I just finished rolling there. The guy was definitely trying to hit me with this full empty 40. I got hit with liquid out of the bottle, and that was the end of that session. We got out of there right away.
Day 7, everyone was going their own way. Guys were grabbing cabs, and I don't know, it was so sad to have that weekend. Just have your buddies go across back to the other side of the country. It was a sad but fun moment.
It was great to meet up with a lot of friends and people that I haven't seen recently, namely like Jeff and Boudreaux, and spend a week just getting ruthless. Just typically, the rookie on the trip is supposed to buy porn for the rest of the group. It keeps morale high and tensions down.
I did look. No one believed me.
Barcelona beer. It tastes pretty sweet when you're getting it for like $1. But after you drink about 400 of them in a couple of days, you really don't want to drink another Estrella. If you ever see me drinking another Estrella, please kill me.
That was the wind down to the trip. A long flight home.
Jordan.